Hello and welcome to my F1 25 driver career mode here today for part 24 for the British Grand Prix, where for the first time we will be racing in reverse. So we come into now the final couple corners of this track, which is the first ones, Free Farm, and the final corner now of Abbey. To the line, cross it at first lap is going to be good enough for P16. But we're going to drop down all the way to P20 as we go again on the same set of tyres. We found 7 tenths on this lap, and that is going to put us back into P16, and then we skip on to the end of qualifying through Abbey once more, up to the line, cross it, and we're going to start the race P50. So this is the grid then ahead of the 2026 British Grand Prix. It is Piers on pole alongside the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc on the front row. Then it's Hayes and Liam Lawson, Lando Norris and Kimi Antonelli, Lewis Hamilton and Esteban Ocon, Albon and Verstappen round out the top 10. Then it's Tsunoda and Carlos Sainz, Hulkenberg and Piastri. We have P15 alongside Gasly. Then it's George Russell and our teammate Villeneuve, Bortoletto and Lance Stroll, and on the final row of the grid is Behrman and Jacques Villeneuve. So the cars will make their way onto the grid ahead of the British Grand Prix for the first time in reverse. Will it make the race even more interesting than they are here at Silverstone, the home of Formula 1? So as the 5 red lights come on here ahead of the British Grand Prix, we're racing here at Silverstone, and we've got a fairly decent start. As now we head into the first corner of Club. We've run a bit wide though. We've gone through the polystyrene barrier there at the 100 brake marker board, and now they're 3 wide in front of us. It's Tsunoda, it's Carlos Sainz, and it's one of the Sambas as well, as we look to try and get round the outside of the Sauber with Hulkenberg. We've ran wide though, going through Stowe. We've dipped a wheel onto the gravel, and now we're side by side with the McLaren of Oscar Piastri as we head up through the Hangar Straight and now through Chapel and Maggots and Beckett's, but we're round wide. We've kept Piastri stuck at the inside of us now. We're on the mediums, he's on the soft, and we really pinch him at Beckett's there, and he's forced it back out as now we go through the extremely quick Cops corner. We've run wide, we're on the grass, and in the background Bortoletto is also off at Cops and in the grass, and now we're finally on the back of Hulkenberg to get him down the inside and get the job done on Hulkenberg as we go through Brooklandsdale and head down the Wellington Straight for the first time. Up next is the Williams of Carlos Sainz, who into the loop. We're going for an absolute dive bomb. Now though, through Village, we're going to look to get the exit and do the up and under as we go through the Kinker Farm, and we're trying to get round the outside of Sainz here through Abbey, but we've had to back out of it. Sainz won't having any of it, and now we're stuck with him on lap 3. Now we're going for a lunge once more down the inside of Carlos Sainz. We're going to try and do the cutback again, try and get the exit, use the battery, try and get round the outside of him, but we're too far back once again to have a go. It is very hard to overtake round Silverstone in reverse. There's not really any overtaking places anymore, as finally we go for a lunge on Sainz and get the job done on the Williams. Up next is the Red Bull of Yuki Tsunoda, who we're hoping to clear fairly quickly and get some pace in this race and get through the field, as this is now Tsunoda getting past the other Williams of Albon right in front of us, and now we're going to look to try and get past Albon around the outside in the background. Have we got the job done on the Williams? I don't think we have. No, we haven't. Tsunoda's through and we're not, and now we're a bit of a Williams sandwich as we just struggled to get close enough to Albon to have a go. So this was pretty much us for most of the opening, a couple of laps here, just stuck behind Albon. We didn't have to worry too much about Sainz, but we just couldn't get anywhere near Albon as we skip on now to the end of lap 8, and Carlos Sainz is in So maybe he is 2-stopping today. But now further back, this is Hulkenberg, who's spun round at the loop. Not somewhere you'd see a spin there, and it's turned into a shocking day for Sauber as Bortoleto goes off at Cops on the opening lap. Now Hulkenberg has spun, and now lap 9 we've been trying to get Albon, and this is the closest we've been to the Williams in a long time, and now we're getting closer and closer, heading up the Hanger Straight, and we're going to look to try and do him around the outside of Chapel. Now we've got him. It's a great move on Albon. Finally the Williams is in our mirrors, and now by lap 11 we're caught at the back of Antonelli, going into H3 and the loop, and down the inside we get the Mercedes. We're flying now, and finally we've got a bit of clean air as Antonelli tries to hold it up the inside of Village, but he couldn't, and we're through, finally through that little pack of cars. And now we can start to get down the road, which is what we did. We pulled away slightly from Antonelli, as at the end of lap 12 we are going to come to the pits to make our one and only stop of the day if everything goes according to plan. We're going to be going onto the hard tyres. It's a very different race to the one 12 months ago with the rain, and now we head down the very, very long pit lane here at Silverstone underneath the wing. The hard tyres go on as the mediums go off, and now where do we come out? Sainz is doing a great undercut here, but as you can see he's on the soft. But where do we come out relative to everyone else? Sainz is already gone as we come out behind Behrman, but we're going to beat Behrman into Stowe. That is race critical because it puts us in a lovely little bit of clear air, as now this is Antonelli and Albon who were racing coming out of the pits, and where are we? Albon's ahead of Antonelli going through, and we are miles up the road, Albon, Antonelli, and you can see us there. But now we couldn't really catch Sainz in front with the tyre delta. He's on the soft, but he's got to pit again, and we were being caught massively by Piastri, who was further back. He was catching both us and Behrman. He's on the back of Behrman now, heading down the Hanger Straight, and he's got the job done on Behrman through Chapel and Beckett, so around the outside. It's a lovely move by Oscar Piastri, and now he's going to be looking to try and get past us. On fresher tyres, that McLaren is a far superior car compared to our RB. We're very much dragging this car into places it shouldn't be, and after laps of trying to keep him behind, on lap 19 our defence is going to have to come to an end as round the outside of us, like he did to Behrman, Piastri gets the job done. And fair play, that's a good move. We tried to stick with him as we go down the old pit straight through Woodcut, and now down towards Luffield. We tried to get him back round the outside, try and do the cut back, but we just didn't have the grip to have a go at re-overtaking Piastri and getting that P8 back, getting that P9 back in this race as we head down the Wellington Straight through the Kink of Entry and into the loop, and we just couldn't get the job done there. So now we skip on to lap 23, just a couple laps ago. You can see Piastri has pulled away, also Sainz pitted earlier on in the race, and there's a yellow flag there.
Green flag.
As Zora makes a mistake potentially, and there's a yellow flag because Albon is slowing down. He is out of the race. Albon is out of the British Grand Prix. You can see there his day is done, and we were just extending out the gap behind. We were just keeping with what we're doing. Antonelli behind us now in P11 as he's going down the pit straight. His day is over. That's a big engine failure. The second Mercedes engine of the day has gone bang. One in a Williams and one in the works Mercedes, and that's a big engine failure. On the verge of the points, Mercedes not having the best of seasons, but Antonelli's day is over as he parks up at the Vale chicane there on the final lap of the race as well. But up front, Piers has dominated this race. He's going to make it back-to-back wins and get his third of the season. Charles Leclerc is going to finish P2. Lando Norris gets on the podium at his home Grand Prix takes P3, and we are going to come home for a pretty solid point in P10.
What a performance! It's P1 for Pierce!
And that's 2 wins in a row now, of course, and it marks the fact that it's not a fluke. So, you know, their head's in the right space. What more can we see going forwards?
All that hard work, all that graft on track, now being rewarded as they make their way onto the podium.
So that's been your British Grand Prix, and it has been won by Joshua Piers. Back-to-back wins for him with Canada, and his third win of the season. The only driver to have more than one win this season as well, just beating Charles Leclerc, who took the fastest lap of the race. Lando Norris getting on the podium at his home Grand Prix as well. Liam Lawson having a good day for Red Bull for once in P4, and Sonny Hayes is only P5, and we got one solid point in P10. We were just too slow for those in front, but we were quicker than those behind. 2 retirements today, that being Albon and Antonelli on the last lap, so Oliver Bearman was the final finisher of the day. So in terms of the championship now, and Piers is starting to pull out a bit of a lead. 15 points is the gap he leads Lando Norris by in P2. Max is P3, 28 points off the lead. Then it is Piers's teammate Sonny Hayes, and we are somehow still P5 in the Drivers' Championship after leading it at one stage. We are now 34 points though off the top. Down at the back, there's still quite a few drivers still yet to score this season, with Bortoletto still bottom of the table. In terms of the constructors, Apex continued to stretch out the lead. It's now 42 points over McLaren in P2. We are still P3, 72 points back from Apex. We are just 6 points ahead of Ferrari, and Aston Martin round out the top of 5. And then it's just Alpine now who are still yet to score this season. So that's been your British Grand Prix then for 2026. A bit different, doing it backwards. We go though to Spa for the next one, for our first sprint weekend of the season, where we will be racing in the right direction. I'll see you at Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix. Goodbye.